Imagine standing on the shoreline of a vast, silent sea, listening to the heavy, rhythmic lapping of waves against a beach made not of sand, but of billions of crushed ice crystals, while a thick, suffocating wind presses against your chest with a density 4 times greater than the air on Earth. And as you look up, the sky isn't blue, but a blinding, hazy dome of deep neon orange that completely swallows the stars, lit by a sun that is nothing more than a tiny cold spark drifting in the distance. This feels like a nightmare, or perhaps a scene from a high-budget science fiction movie. But this place is terrifyingly real. It is sitting right now in the freezing darkness of the outer solar system, roughly 886 million miles from where you are currently sitting, spinning silently around the ringed giant Saturn. This is Titan, a world that defies every rule we thought we knew about the cosmos, a celestial paradox that is simultaneously the most alien environment we have ever discovered, and the most hauntingly familiar reflection of Earth that exists anywhere in the universe. A dark twin that mirrors our own planet in ways that make scientists shudder with excitement and fear. For centuries, this moon was nothing more than a tantalizing riddle, a locked box floating in the void, wrapped in an impenetrable veil of golden smog that refused to let us see what lay beneath. And for generations, astronomers stared at it, desperate to know if a solid surface actually existed under those clouds, or if it was just a ball of gas. But the mystery of Titan is not just about what it looks like, it is about what it suggests. Because beneath that crushing orange haze lies the only other place in the known universe where liquid rains from the sky, flows across the land and pools into massive oceans. But if you were to dip your hand into those waters, you wouldn't feel the refreshing cool of H2O. You would be touching pure liquid methane, essentially swimming in a boundless ocean of rocket fuel chilled to a temperature so extreme that it would freeze your body solid in seconds. This is the story of the most mysterious object in our solar system. A world that was hidden from human eyes until we built a machine capable of piercing the veil. And what we found down there changes absolutely everything we know about the potential for life in the universe. Our journey to this impossible world began in the quiet hum of history. Officially discovered way back in 1655 by the legendary Dutch astronomer Christian Huygens, who spotted a tiny point of light circling Saturn. But for the next 300 years, that is all Titan remained. A point of light, a pixel of data that refused to resolve into an image. It wasn't until the space age, specifically in 1979, that humanity finally mustered the courage to go there, sending the robotic pioneer, the spacecraft Pioneer 11, on a suicide run past Saturn to investigate the rings and the chaotic family of moons that dance around the gas giant. The anticipation in the control room was electric. Scientists were on the edge of their seats, convinced that Pioneer would send back photos of a cratered, rocky wasteland like our own moon, or perhaps an ice ball like Europa. But when the first images loaded onto the screens, the room fell silent with confusion and disappointment because there was nothing to see. The probe stared at Titan, and Titan stared back with a blank, featureless face of dense orange fog, a planetary poker face that revealed absolutely zero details. It was impenetrable, a maddening ball of fuzz that seemed to mock our curiosity. But while Pioneer's cameras failed, its sensors struck gold, tasting the atmosphere and realizing that this wasn't just a cloud, it was a shield. A thick, heavy blanket of nitrogen that matched Earth's atmosphere almost perfectly. A discovery that immediately elevated Titan from a simple moon to a planetary laboratory. But the similarities to Earth stopped at the nitrogen, because mixed into that air was something that piqued the curiosity of every biologist on the planet: hydrocarbons. To the average person, hydrocarbons are mundane. They are the gasoline in your car, the propane in your grill, the stuff we burn for energy. But to a scientist, hydrocarbons are the holy grail. They are the Lego bricks of existence, the carbon atoms bonded to hydrogen that form the backbone of every single living cell in your body. From your DNA to the proteins that allow your muscles to move, Titan is drowning in them. Its atmosphere is a swirling chemical factory where the sun's ultraviolet light smashes methane molecules apart, raining down a constant soot of complex organic compounds that coats the entire moon in the building blocks of life. The implications are staggering because we know that if you take these hydrocarbons and you add oxygen to the party, you don't just get fuel, you get carbohydrates, the literal food of life. We know the oxygen is there, locked deep in the frozen water ice that makes up the moon's crust, waiting for a spark, waiting for a way to meet the fuel. But the weirdness of Titan goes beyond chemistry. It extends into the realm of physics, creating a playground of gravity and density that sounds like a superhero fantasy. Imagine a world where the gravity is so weak, about 14% of Earth's, and the air is so thick, 4 times denser than ours, that the laws of aviation are fundamentally broken. If you were standing on a cliff on Titan, strapped into a wingsuit with nothing but stiff cardboard wings attached to your arms, you wouldn't fall, you would glide, and with a little effort, you could literally flap your arms and fly like a bird, soaring effortlessly through the heavy orange twilight, banking and diving over mountains of ice for as long as your stamina held out. It is the only place in the solar system where a human being could fly under their own power. A detail that makes Titan the ultimate destination for future explorers. But for decades, these were just theories, mathematical models on a chalkboard, until NASA decided that looking from afar wasn't enough. They needed to touch it. They needed to see the ground. So they teamed up with the European and Italian space agencies to build the Cassini-Huygens mission, a dual spacecraft Leviathan designed to camp out at Saturn and finally strip away the secrets of the orange moon. Arriving in 2004, Cassini was equipped with radar eyes that could see through the smog, and what it saw broke the minds of the researchers watching the data stream back to Earth. It revealed a world that looked terrifyingly like a deep frozen version of Earth, possessing a fully active climate cycle, but one that operates at negative 179 degrees Celsius. At this hellish temperature, physics gets rewritten. Water ice freezes so hard it stops acting like ice and starts acting like granite rock, forming massive tectonic plates, jagged mountain ranges, and canyon walls that will never melt. While methane, which is a gas on Earth, turns into a liquid, falling from the sky in slow-motion raindrops that are twice the size of Earth rain, carving out river channels, eroding the landscape and filling vast lakes. But the scientists wanted to see it with their own eyes. They wanted a boots-on-the-ground perspective. So they did something audaciously risky. They carried a secondary probe. The Huygens lander piggybacked on the side of Cassini, and in January 2005 they threw it at the moon. This was a one-way trip, a dive into the unknown, and as Huygens slammed into the upper atmosphere, surviving the burning entry to deploy its parachutes, it drifted down for 2.5 hours through the alien haze, snapping photos that revealed rugged mountains and dark, winding drainage channels that looked exactly like the river systems of Earth, but carved by liquid natural gas. When Huygens finally hit the ground, it didn't crash into rock. It landed with a squelch, bouncing and sliding across a surface with the consistency of wet clay or creme brulee, coming to rest in a dried-up riverbed scattered with rounded stones. But look closely at those stones in the images. They aren't rocks. They are chunks of water ice that have been tumbled and smoothed over centuries by flowing methane, sitting on a dark sandy surface made of hydrocarbon grains. The photos Huygens sent back before its batteries died in the extreme cold showed a world bathed in an eerie twilight, where noon is only as bright as the last fading moments of sunset on Earth. A gloomy, orange-tinted wasteland that felt shockingly familiar, yet totally dead. However, Huygens landed in a dry spot, missing the liquid, which led to a massive puzzle. Where did the methane go? Cassini spent the next 13 years answering that question, discovering that Titan experiences mega-droughts that last for centuries, allowing the methane to evaporate and build up in the clouds until the sky can't hold it anymore, unleashing cataclysmic, torrential flash floods that scour the surface and reshape the moon in violent outbursts before settling back into silence. The probe eventually found the missing liquid pooling at the North Pole, identifying massive shimmering lakes like Ontario Lacus, which mirrors its North American namesake in shape, but is filled with ultra-pure methane and is unnervingly flat, smooth as glass with waves no higher than a few millimeters. likely due to the thick, viscous oil behaving differently than water. The largest of these, the Kraken Mare, is a monster sea larger than the Black Sea on Earth, deep and dark, experiencing actual tides as Saturn's gravity pulls at the liquid methane, making it rise and fall by a meter. A breathing ocean of rocket fuel. But the most mind-bending discovery is what lies deep beneath the surface, because Titan is geologically alive, showing evidence of cryovolcanoes, ice volcanoes that don't erupt molten rock, but instead vomit out a slushy mixture of water, ice, and ammonia, a natural antifreeze that keeps the water liquid just long enough to flow, hinting at the most exciting secret of all, a subsurface ocean of liquid salt water hiding deep beneath the crust, kept warm by tidal heating and insulated by the ice above. This means Titan is actually two ocean worlds in one, a surface ocean of methane and a deep underground ocean of water, giving it all three ingredients necessary for life: liquid water, organic material, and energy sources. They just need to find a way to meet. This tantalizing possibility is why we are going back, why NASA is currently investing nearly $1 billion in a mission straight out of science fiction called Dragonfly. Unlike the rovers on Mars that crawl inches per day, Dragonfly is a nuclear-powered dual quadcopter drone scheduled to launch in 2028 and arrive in 2034, designed to fly through the thick atmosphere, hopping dozens of miles at a time, landing, drilling, and tasting the sands of Titan. It will hunt for prebiotic chemistry, looking for the moment where dead chemicals become living biology, searching for signs that in the solar system's biggest factory of organic matter, life might have found a way to exist in the cold dark. It is a mission to the edge of the known, to a world of orange skies and black seas, to answer the ultimate question: are we truly alone? Or is Titan waiting to show us that we have family in the stars? Stay tuned with Space Savants for more information. Subscribe and like our channel. Thank you for watching us.